Acapulco Kitchen. Today we're making homemade borrachitos, drunken candies. Vámonos! Borrachitos are yet another gift to the world from Puebla. They were born in the convents during the colony where nuns came up with creative ways to use alcohol in their dishes. I guess they thought, we cannot drink it, let's eat it. This candy is beloved throughout the whole country, and you can find it many places, and it is a very famous souvenir that you bring as a gift for your loved ones. This candy is not jelly, is not marshmallow, is not gummy, is all of the above plus the buzziness of alcohol. Traditionally made with ron or tequila, I'm giving them a switch, creating my own versions of borrachitos as homemade as I could get. This video reminded me of when I tried to make Japanese peanuts. It was a lot of experimenting, a lot of learning. In the end, I think I came up with a viable way to do this candy at home. I'll give you all the tips and tricks, but so far, let's get to it. First, we're gonna start with a thickening agent. And for that, I'm gonna use half a cup of water and a quarter of a cup of cornstarch. Remember that cornstarch only dissolves in cold liquids. That's why I'm making my slurry before adding it to the hot mixture. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to dissolve. Mix it well and make sure it's clumps free. Once you have it ready, set it aside and let's move on to the hot stuff. In my pot, I'm gonna add half a cup of water, and in it, I'm gonna dissolve 2 tablespoons of sugar. Let's mix that well and bring it to a boil. For the flavor and color of my candy, I'm gonna be using gelatin, the box kind that you can find in any store. So there are many flavors and colors that you can play with. For my first batch, I'm gonna be using this mixed berry that has a pretty bright blue. So make sure to dissolve it the same way you would if you were making a regular gelatin. And once it's well incorporated and starts to boil back up, we're gonna add and mix well the cornstarch slurry. With low heat on, I'm going to allow the cornstarch to thicken up all the mixture. You're gonna notice how it becomes syrupy and then jello-like almost. When that happens, turn your heat off and we're gonna incorporate the alcohol. I do it that way so the alcohol won't consume, so the flavor remains in the candy, because that's the point of the drunken candy, so you can taste the alcohol. In my case, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of gin. But you're your own bartender when it comes to your borrachito, so do your own mixes. Now we're ready to pour it in the mold. Preferably you would use a rectangular or square mold if you want your pieces to be exact, but I don't have that. I only have pie molds, so that's what I'm gonna use. Let it cool, and once it's cool off, we're gonna place it in the fridge, preferably overnight, but a couple of hours probably will do. For the second batch, I thought it would be fun to make a flavor that reminds me of my youth, when my friends and I would only drink coconut rum with pineapple juice, which to this day I still enjoy a lot. Very refreshing, very tropical, very delicious. And for my third batch, I wanted to do a classic, but I'm gonna be switching the tequila for mezcal. Therefore, I'm gonna be using orange jello. So orange and mezcal. If you want to do a tequila, I would suggest some lime or lemon citrus flavor on your jello. But hey, it's up to you. Whatever you like is gonna be perfect. Now, mezcal has a very strong smoky flavor. So instead of using 3 tablespoons, I'm gonna be only using 2. And after letting my candy set in the fridge overnight, the fun part began. First off, by my attempt of dividing my candies in even pieces, which didn't happen because I like the skills of making straight lines and dividing things equally. But that was the least of my problems. My problems began when I decided to immediately coat my candy in sugar, which was a mistake. I started taking the pieces of candy and coating them in sugar and letting them sit in a tray. As soon as I turned around, my candy started to melt. Of course, because sugar is a hygroscopic agent which absorbs moisture from the air and the candy itself. Manufacturers use different techniques to coat their candy before dusting it in sugar. Some of them use wax, and some of them mold their candy in cornstarch molds. That gave me an idea. With that in mind, I decided to coat all of my candy in cornstarch before dusting it with anything else to create a barrier between the candy and the sugar, inhibiting liquid loss. Now, let me tell you that cornstarch and its non Newtonian properties made this process quite messy. So, just make sure to have your vacuum at hand. This coating not just work as a moisture barrier, but will also prevent the candy from sticking to each other, making it easier to handle them. So I'm gonna place them in a tray and let them sit for at least 10 to 20 minutes, and then I can proceed to store them. I then place my candy in containers in the fridge overnight, and they were perfectly fine the next day when I needed to dust them. I still suggest you to leave that part until the very last minute right before you're ready to serve them. You don't have to worry about the cornstarch because we use so little that you won't have or feel any flavor or texture of it. And the coating will still grab on the candy as you will see next. And since I was feeling more confident with my coating, I decided to get creative. Since I'm only gonna be coating a few of my candy, I started with smaller amounts. So I have 3 containers, all with 3 tablespoons of sugar. For the pineapple and coconut rum, I'm only gonna use that. Dust them really well both sides and don't forget all around it. Nice and fluffy, and as you can tell, they're not sticking to each other, which is great. For the mixed berry flavor, I added citric acid. I only added a quarter of a teaspoon, but to be honest, I think they can take way more than that. I will go full teaspoon for the next time. They get pleasantly tangy, but I think you can achieve a Sour Patch kind of flavor if you add more than that. So I'll say go for it. And because somehow chili makes its way in almost everything I make, I decided to add 1 tablespoon of Tajín to the orange mezcal ones. And trust me, I don't regret it a bit. They turn out great. And here they all are. Craft yourself a little box or put them in a tray and get them as soon as possible to your peeps. And here we have them. If I'm honest with you, they're sweating already. So keep the dusting to the very last minute. The coating of the cornstarch creates a barrier that allows them to stay in storage for longer. However, I do suggest you to make them closest to wherever party you're bringing them or whatever event you're having them. Also, make sure to try them before, test them before you actually make them for the event you're trying to bring them, so you can see which flavors suit you, which strategies or techniques are better for you, and just have fun with them. In the end, it's all about love and sharing with the ones we love. And let's give them a try. So let's try first pineapple with coconut rum. This pairing is spectacular. Just the sugar on top, pineapple, coconut rum, perfect combination. I don't know if it's gonna be my favorite because I'm very curious about the sour berries. Let's go on for the mezcal and orange. This is a classic combination. If you've ever had mezcal, it will traditionally come with a slice of orange and some chili, even warm chili, which is even better. But this case is Tajín, so let's see. See how chewy and soft they are. They melt in your mouth. Ooh! This one's strong. It almost feels like you're having a shot. Very, very good. If you like mezcal, yep. You can make them with tequila, of course, too. And now let me switch hands and try the berry and citric acid. This one has gin. It's really good. I love gin and berries. Definitely one of my favorites. It reminds me of my cousins because we thought we came up with the wonderful mix of gin and berries, and we call that drink bad word in German, red lady of the night in German. So cheers to my cousins. This is delicious. You can barely taste the gin, but there's some little bit of booziness on it. So there you have. These mixtures are fantastic. In all honesty, I don't have a favorite. I like them all. But give it a try. Make different mixes and see what you like the best. This definitely made me appreciate more the love and labor that it comes to making them, especially the traditional way and in the amounts and the quantities that they make them. So make them for your friends. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they're gonna be good. Share them with your loved ones, especially this Valentine's Day, because, like Beyonce said, they have to be drunk in love. And don't worry, they're safe for kids. The amount of alcohol is really minimum, so anybody can eat them. We ate them as children, and look at us. We're fine. Are we? I don't know. Anyway, if you like them and give them a try, please share this recipe. Just like this video, like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.